We continue to have remaining showers from hurricane that is now tropical storm Idalia, and we'll be seeing some more rainfall tonight. But when will the sunshine arrive? I'll have details in your Viper 6 forecast coming up.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 10, how homeless shelters are preparing for more people in need following those storms today.
And look at the damage that bad weather left behind as your News at 10 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 10 on MeTV.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brad Means.
And I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, what a wet day. And coverage you can count on begins with a check of our weather.
Yeah, Miller Hyatt standing by, part of the live Viper 6 team that's been tracking these storms all day. Glad to see a lot less green on that radar, Miller.
That is right, Brad and Jenny. We are starting to see some clearing conditions, thankfully, after a pretty wet day as we have that tropical system pushing on through. So thankfully, it's pushing at a good pace off towards our east. You can see here the circulation is now pushing out of the CSRA. We're just left with some remnant rain showers right now, but we're all good. We're all in the clear for the most part. So looking at where there are some rainfall, and that is towards Bamberg right now as you head down to the south, but for the most part we're seeing some dry conditions, which is good news because we've had a lot of rainfall as of late. So Live Viper 6 continues to show the rain continuing through the region, and we're going to be seeing plenty of dry air head on through as we go into tomorrow and eventually into the weekend. So it's shaping up to be a very nice Labor Day weekend on tap. So here's the look at Bamberg right now. We have some light to moderate rainfall continuing, but we're not really seeing any storms with this system because we have a lot of warm air in the atmosphere above, and that's not allowing for very stormy conditions, but we are seeing the rainfall right now. So as we go into the rest of the week, we're also going to be seeing that continuing as we go forward. And I apologize, but my clicker seems to be pretty slow, so let me fix that real quick. But we're going to be seeing some conditions moving forward, very dry, and we're going to be seeing that forward. So we're going to be, so here we go. Let me see if it works. Now there we go. So dry in Augusta, and then as we go into the rest of the area, we're seeing that as well. So we're seeing temperatures and rainfall amounts right now upwards of 6 inches near Sylvania, and we're also seeing that conditions worsen to our south. So we do have flood alerts continuing for Allendale and Screven County until further notice, where inches of rain have fallen. And the good news is for the flood watch that has been scaled back for most of the area, now only in Bamberg County right now. So we're going to be seeing additional ½ an inch to 2 inches of rain. As you can see here, satellite and radar shows Tropical Storm Idalia moving into the rest of the region, out of the region, which is good news. And I'll have more details coming up in your Viper 6 forecast, Brad and Jenny.
All right, Miller, thanks so much. Well, one of the counties on Miller's map that was hard hit was Screven County. Those storms stemming today from Idalia. Hannah Latier spoke with the county's EMA director after the worst of it to see what the next steps are.
Crews will be out Thursday morning to continue moving fallen trees like the one behind me off the roads. EMA phones were ringing off the hook on Wednesday evening from people reporting hazards on the roads. Power outages across the county were into the thousands. Roads were flooded and crews were maxed out.
We're going to do our best to get as many roads cleared today until we may have to put our workers down for a little while, get a few hours sleep, and then back up at daybreak. So we really don't want to work too much into the night because it gets more dangerous at nighttime and injuries and stuff. We want to eliminate having any injuries at all.
Director Kreider says they're prepared to keep working until further notice to get everything, including power, back up and running. In Screven County, Hannah Latier, WJBF News Channel 6.
Well, when it rains, problems pour, especially when it comes to Augusta's low-lying neighborhoods. Proof of that today on Virginia Avenue near Butler High School. But it's not floodwaters creating concerns, it's sewage. Senior reporter George Escala has that.
Watch your step on Virginia Avenue again. Raw sewage mixed with rainwater bubbling out of a manhole on the street. Same thing happened in late June after heavy thunderstorms. Neighbors getting very tired of this.
It's just devastation. We thought it was fixed, and we see now it's not fixed. The city just doing a bad job about, fixing our streets and stuff. And it needs to be fixed and fixed immediately.
Zellers has called Augusta 311 as well as her commissioner to get this problem fixed. She's now waiting for the city to respond. In Augusta, George Escala, WJBF News Channel 6.
Hurricane Idalia weakened to a tropical storm as it approached the CSRA, but it still packed a punch. Bria Smith now with coverage from North Augusta.
One North Augusta family was shaken up by a loud boom, only to walk outside and see the large tree in front of their home now on top of it.
The Dugan family has lived in this home for the past 6 years, but say this tree has been there for 30+ years. They tell me when they heard the loud noise, they were scared. Everyone in the house was able to evacuate and no one was reported injured.
The house shook, and then Anthony said, "China, that was a tree falling on the house." We opened up the door and the tree was at our front door, and then we had to go around it to look at the tree is on top of our house.
The Dugan family will be able to stay in their home tonight, and cleanup is scheduled for Thursday morning. In North Augusta, Bria Smith, WJBF News Channel 6.
Shelters in Augusta are opening up overnight, trying to give people a place to stay after this storm. Nikita Dennis has more.
As the weather continues, shelters are opening their doors to people who need housing. City leaders say they're making sure safety comes first. District 1 Commissioner Jordan Johnson says preparing for dangerous weather is nothing new to the city of Augusta.
The city has taken action to make sure that those who were in need of emergency shelter during inclement weather had that. And the commission made an action maybe a year or so ago to lean on our partners in Augusta, the Salvation Army and others.
The Salvation Army's Center of Hope is putting out extra cots for people to stay overnight. If the shelter gets to capacity, the Augusta Rescue Mission will add extra beds for men.
Salvation Army will be 24 hours during inclement weather so that folks who are in need of emergency sheltering will have that, have those options to their, at their disposal.
City workers are also preparing for the aftermath of Hurricane Idalia.
Crews will be out making sure that any effects that this storm has had on our communities will be taken care of, whether that's fallen branches, trees in the road, clogged drains.
Commissioner Johnson also says as the storm passes through, they will continue to make sure people are getting the resources they need for shelter. In Augusta, Nikita Dennis, WJBF News Channel 6.
Bamberg and Allendale counties saw some wind and rain come through today, no doubt about that. With an update on those areas, here's Aiken Bureau Chief Sean Cabbage-Stock.
Hey there, it's good to see you. It's been raining nonstop. The winds are picking up. I heard rumbles of thunder and saw an occasional lightning flash. The rain has been causing problems for the good folks down here in Allendale. 2 trees fell onto Highway 321. The South Carolina Department of Transportation removed those. The highway is back open to traffic. Also, a car went into a ditch. Some parking lots are inundated with water. Ditches are holding excess water, and we're told they are gradually draining off, and shelters still not expected to be open.
Again, a very slight possibility. That's something we kind of play by ear. We don't normally have to have them, which is a good thing. And we normally shelter people who are traveling from the Beaufort County coastline, and they're not really moving. They're in place.
And if you have an emergency, of course, give 911 a call, as schools here in Allendale will be closed on Thursday. In Allendale, I'm Aiken Bureau Chief Sean Cabbage-Stock, WJBF News Channel 6.
This is a WJBF Live Viper 6 alert.
Well, we are looking at a lot of rain that fell throughout today. Here's a loop of Live Viper 6 since this morning. We had hurricane now eventually downgraded to Tropical Storm Idalia, and that is now pushing on towards the east off towards the South Carolina coast. But look how much nicer we are right now. Here's a live look at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam over at Augusta Regional Airport. Nice and quiet after a pretty wet one today. 75 degrees. Check out our winds northwest at 13 miles per hour, but unfortunately it still feels pretty muggy out there with a dew point of 72 right now, but we're going to be seeing some drier air filter in. So here's two-state temperatures. Right now it's 80 degrees down in Myrtle Beach, 75 here in Augusta, 74 in Athens, and 73 in Atlanta. So we are starting to see some drier air filter in. Check out dew points down into the 60s in Atlanta. It's still 72 for a dew point in Augusta, 80 for a dew point. Very muggy in Myrtle Beach where the tropical system is starting to push on through. You can actually see that here on our two-state wind gust map. 25-mile-per-hour wind gust in Myrtle Beach. Here's that circulation here. We have the counterclockwise flow. 30-mile-per-hour wind gust right now in Savannah. 28-mile-per-hour wind gust in Columbia. So here it is right now, Tropical Storm Idalia, and that is now centered just towards the west of Charleston right now. That is pushing towards the northeast at a good clip, 21 miles per hour. But we're all seeing dry conditions right now on the backside of a Tropical Storm Idalia, and we're going to be seeing dry conditions behind this. Check out all the nice conditions. No rain really, as we have rain-free air moving on forward. So looking at the next 3 days, we're going to be seeing beautiful conditions. Check out the temperatures. Very nice for this time of the year as we enter September on Friday. Nice and sunny, even some low temperatures in the upper 50s. So a little bit of a taste of fall. Here's our futurecast, 48 hours. We're tracking Idalia moving on off the coast of North Carolina, and we're going to be seeing nice and dry conditions heading into tomorrow. That continues. We do have a trough to the south that could kick up some showers and storms, portions of Alabama, and that's going to be staying to the south, which is good news for us. And as we go into Friday, same story. The rain stays off towards the south. I think this is overdoing it a little bit. I don't think we're going to be seeing really any rain on your Friday and Saturday, so that's good news. So going into tonight, we're going to see that clearing out. As we go into tomorrow, we're going to be seeing some sunshine. Finally, a nice sigh of relief here heading towards tomorrow and the afternoon. Temperatures only warming up to around 80 degrees, which is about 10 degrees below where we should be for this time of the year. Then temperatures also cooling down just in time for Labor Day weekend. Here it is. Here's Saturday, 82 degrees with a morning low of 58 going into the weekend, mid to upper 80s. So very nice and sunny, looking pretty good for any outdoor plans that you have after the temporary end to this rainy weather. So here's our lows tonight. We're going to be seeing muggy conditions with temperatures in the upper 60s, and also some areas could hit 70. So for tomorrow, temperatures in the low to mid 80s with conditions drying, and we're going to be seeing 10 degree below average temperatures going into tomorrow. So here's your 10-day forecast. We're going to be starting off nice and dry for Labor Day weekend. Temperatures in the low 80s. Then Sunday is going to be a little bit warmer, 84 degrees, 87, looking pretty good on your Labor Day. And we're going forward into next week. We're going to be seeing a temperature climb into the low 90s, 90 degrees on Wednesday, 92 on Thursday, and going back down to the upper 80s by next Saturday, partly cloudy. But check out the lows. They're going to be much lower in the lower 60s, even some 50s sprinkled in there Saturday night into Sunday morning. So a nice feel of fall after all the wet and humid weather that we have been seeing. I'll toss it now over to Brad.
Miller, thanks. Aiken County certainly saw plenty of rainfall today. They also saw several fallen trees in the area. The sheriff's office says one tree fell on Langley Dam Road. It blocked the street. Another one on Huber Clay Road. That one left huge limbs on the ground.
I don't know that we'll see 8 inches of rain, but we could certainly see it in localized areas where we get some of these bands. So I don't anticipate we'll get that much rain, but we've already got a lot of rain.
Yeah, other than those fallen trees and some road blockages, there was no, thank goodness, significant damage.
And now to Emmanuel County, where storm preparedness began Tuesday. Emmanuel County schools were canceled and county offices, with the exception of emergency services, closed today at noon. By midday, wind speeds increased to nearly 30 miles per hour with visibility around 2 miles. according to our Viper 6 weather team. The sheriff tells us that while they expect some falling trees, they're prepared to have them cleared off the roads as soon as possible.
I, along with several of my deputies, have chainsaws in our vehicles, and if they're small enough that we can move them, we'll go ahead and cut them up and clear the road. And this is a small community. We know a lot of people that have tractors, and if they're nearby, we'll get them to come out with their front end loaders and they'll just push them out of the way.
Emergency responders in Emmanuel County expect conditions to be safe by Thursday.
Crews from across the Peach State making their way to Jenkins County to restore power. Strong winds and heavy rain ripped through the county all afternoon and evening. The storm took down trees and knocked out electricity. But thanks to Electric Co-op Planners EMC, at least 50 line workers are coming. They're going to stay at Oak Hill Baptist Church. Jenkins County EMA donating those cots that you see there. Getting to town tonight, and they'll work round the clock to fix lines damaged by the storm and several thousand meters that got knocked out too.
We're in a rural community, and we just don't have the hotel and motel facilities to house these linemen. So when it's time for them to rest, we will bring them here.
Mighty nice. Brinson says the first crew in tonight will be deployed around midnight or whenever it's safe, and they hope to get power back on within 2 to 3 days.